Hey out there in the digital landscape! Alright, I'm so glad you're able to join me, the digital prisoner, here today with my special guest who needs no introduction. Oh yeah, it's the Macho Man Randy Savage, and I'm here today to tell you, oh yeah, that you need to listen up about making choices. Oh yeah. Well, thank you for that intro, Macho. Alright, so today we're going to be talking about making choices, which is such a big part of economics. Um, and this is where a lot of it comes down to a more personal level. Um, I know a lot of the times in economics we tend to focus on a lot of the big picture, when we talk about how the governments influence economics and so forth. But this is a little bit on a more personal note. And so we're going to revisit cost benefit analysis for a moment. Um, and it decide how much the action or decision will cost you. Is it going to cost me? What am I going to miss out? Opportunity cost. What am I going to miss out for doing this? And what are the costs of this doing? Maybe monetary, non-monetary. Calculate what kind of benefits you're going to receive. What am I going to get from doing this? Or from not doing this? Sometimes you get benefits from not doing things. Um, Compare to see which is bigger, the cost or the benefits. And when the choices are just monetary, they tend to be easier. The non-monetary choices or subjective uh, tend to be the more difficult ones. Like, do I go live here or here? I can make the same amount in both places. That's a hard question. Higher education. College tuition and housing costs tend to be high. Okay? Every person has to weigh these costs versus the advantage. College is not for everybody, though our current culture tends to try to send everybody to college. So some people are going to weigh it and say, hey, college isn't for me. I don't want to do a job that I need to go to college for. Uh, I'm going to have to take out all these loans because, that's one way people tend to pay for their tuition and housing is take out college loans and have to pay for them. Uh, some people are like, well, I really want to be a doctor, so I got to go to college, or I want to be, in a profession that needs a college degree, like a physicist. Um, and then, so you need to look at balance this out. So whenever you're getting ready or thinking about college, you need to set you up a table, and it's simple, just something like this: pros and cons, you know, and see which side's bigger. Write down everything you think of, regardless if it's something trivial to most people. You know, I don't want to move away from home to go to college. Well, that could be, something that you put down for a con if there's no colleges close to you. Um, and so, or it could be, I just want to get out of my parents' house. And that could be a pro that you use that college, go into that. So make your list and see which side weighs out. Alternative educational options. There are 2-year colleges. You can get an associate degree. It costs you less in tuition and so forth. Uh, it's more job oriented, but it's less well-rounded. You don't get all the extra, philosophies and humanity classes and all these other classes. They get a lot more to the point. There's also things like trade school and so forth. Um, there are other factors to look at when making decisions. Opportunity costs that I mentioned earlier. What am I passing up to do this? Maybe I have an uncle who owns a business and he wants me to come work for him whenever I graduate high school. So that would be an opportunity that I would be giving up. That would be one of my opportunity costs for me to go to college. Okay. Environment. You gotta take in the environment. Where's a college that's near me? Am I going to have to go out of state? You know, And it's not just, and I'm using the college thing here, but your environment affects us in all sorts of ways in a lot of our decisions. What resources are near me? What resources are available to me? What, what is the area? If I'm making a simple decision of buying clothes, if I live in a cold environment, I don't want to go buy shorts. Okay. And people really affect our decisions. As I mentioned earlier, maybe I don't want to leave my family. Maybe I do want to get out. So, these are all things that affect our decisions. Moving out can be a major decision in your life. There are a lot of decisions to weigh when you leave your parents' house and get your own place. So, what are some of the things that you should take into account? Again, make you a chart. Um, some things to tell you for me. It would be amazing to go back, when I was a kid and I had somebody to do my laundry, somebody to cook, somebody to clean, maybe I had a few chores. Somebody who took care of when you get a house or place, you got to take care of everything. You got to pay the bills. You've got to decide, hey, you'd have to make cost benefit analysis on, do I, you know, get satellite or cable, or can I afford that? Or do I get TV or internet? And so there's a lot of decisions that you have to make that go into owning your own place and living out on your own. Questions of renting. How much can you afford in rent each month? That's a big issue. Really like this place I found, but the rent is more than I make, so I can't afford it. You know, how much are your other living expenses? Gas, electricity, how much are your other wanted extras? Like I mentioned, cable, internet, phone, all these other things, these bills that you're going to have every month. You got to factor all that in. Do you have to pay that's first month and last month? A lot of apartment complexes have you pay that, and a security deposit. So you're having to put a lot of money up front. Should I get roommates? Do I find a place small enough that I can just live, or do I find a place that's got several bedrooms so I have roommates who are helping pitch in? Um, Location. Where do I want to be located? Do I want to be located near the school I'm going to go to, or near where I'm going to be working? Do I want to be located in town, out of town? How big of a place do you want? Landlords may run credit checks or call references before letting you move in. Um, so these are things that you have to be prepared for. If you don't have good credit or any credit, you might not get the place that you're trying to get. You would be considered a tenant. A landlord is the person who runs the property. Your tenant would be you renting the property. If all is good and he decides to rent you the apartment, you will need to sign a lease. And this gives you the rules of the rental arrangement, what you can and can't do. Just like Sheldon and Leonard's roommate contract, you have to sign and it tells you all the rules of your agreement. To pimp my crib. Most likely your place will be unfurnished. Most apartments and all are. Um, Finding affordable furniture. Do I get hand-me-downs from my cousin or my aunt or whoever? Do I go to Goodwill and see what I can find? Do I go to garage sales? Warehouse stores that sell a lot of this in bulk, unfinished furniture shops, classifieds, like Craigslist and so forth. Um, and don't forget that you got to also have money for like sheets, towels, dishes, appliances. Man, there's so much out there. And then setting aside money each month for unexpected expenses is also great planning. Uh, Things that could always pop up. You could have problems. You could have problems with the plumbing, and man, it just drenched everything in your apartment and ruined a lot of stuff. Or, you know, boom, your TV went out, and man, or your computer went out, and you really need a new computer. So there are a lot of different things that could happen. All right, well, if you're doing a house, a mortgage is a loan given to pay for a house or other types of real estate, usually over a 15 to 30-year span. A down payment is usually 3 to 20%. Closing costs varies depending on how much the house costs, and can sometimes be added into the mortgage. You have realtor fees, and various other fees. You have inspectors or credit reports and so forth. So whenever you go to get a house, there can be a lot of money involved, not besides just the cost of a house. To get a mortgage, you'll usually need solid employment history, usually about 2 years at the same job, income 2 to 3 times your mortgage payment so that they can make sure you're able to pay your bills and still pay your mortgage. And this is known as your debt to income ratio, and good credit. And I know we keep mentioning credit, but credit is a very important thing nowadays. And this is just a chart again to show you, to get you to start thinking, let me list things out so I can see these decisions. Uh, Insurance. Do I get insurance? Which is protection against risk. You make regular payments, and they promise to pay for various type of losses you may occur: auto, health, homeowners, rental, life, disability. Um, a premium. That's the money that you pay to the insurance company each period for its protection. The deductible. That's the amount that you have to pay before the insurance will pay. If you have like $1,000 deductible, well, you have to pay $1,000 on it before the insurance starts kicking in and paying. Lower premiums. The lower your premium, the higher your deductible generally, and the lower your deductible, usually the higher your premium. Auto, you can go with just if you own your car, you can go with just liability, and that way it covers you in case you make a mistake and hit somebody. It'll cover that uh, their damage, but it won't cover yours. Different states have different requirements. And also, you can get like discounts. You can get student discounts. You can get good driver discounts. You can get all sorts of different multiple car discounts and different things when doing this shopping for your insurance. Homeowners. If there's damage to the house, one time I had a limb fall on my house, and my homeowners covered to fix my roof because it put a hole in my roof. So it's a good thing. Sometimes it's a really good thing to have. Damage to people on the property, damage to loss or contents of your house. If things get stolen or stuff happens, if a fire breaks out, they'll cover a large part of my stuff. Renters. Renters protects your stuff while you're renting. It doesn't really protect the property, but it protects your property inside of the unit. Health insurance, managed care. Now, health insurance is changing a bit um, to where everybody has to have health care through the Affordable Care Act or Obamacare. Um, and so a lot of this is kind of changing, but you generally had like your HMOs, your PPOs. You again have deductibles or copays for where a copay, unlike a deductible, you don't have to pay so much up front. A copay, you have to, every time you go to the doctor, you might have to pay $20. You might never hit that $1,000 deductible. Or you might, if you go to the doctor a lot, man, you might pay over that. But with that copay, it pays per your visit. A fee for service. Patients who choose their own doctors and hospitals, you might have to pay that depending on if your doctors are within your health network. Life and disability. Life is purchased on you or your family members in case of death. If somebody dies, then you get paid out the life insurance. I mean, if it's under certain circumstances, they won't even pay out then. Uh, Disability. If you become disabled due to a sickness or injury and can't work, insurance pays a percentage of your wages. So that might be something if you think you might ever get hurt or get sick, you might want to have. And there are other various types of insurance, like malpractice for doctors, who, if they accidentally make a mistake, it covers them in case somebody tries to sue them. So will you get insurance? Maybe. What insurance will you get? Will you get all of these? Will you be a person that says, I just get what I need to get by? Can you afford it? All right, so until next time, here's hoping you're making great choices. Deuces!